Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and us here live for this great Q&A with the Bumblebee Conservation Trust. I am joined today by Liz Pari from Bumblebee Conservation Trust, the Special Projects Coordinating Officer.
Senior
It's a bit.
Project Development Officer.
It was
Yeah,
a big title. It's a big,
close.
impressive title. Sorry. So,
It is
Senior
long.
Project Development Officer. I apologize. My memory is about that of a gnat, not even a bee.
Mine too.
It's just I don't have it. So, for those who are wondering, where the heck am I? I'm in Delaware. Hi, greetings from Delaware. I'm here because I'm doing the Delaware Running Festival half marathon tomorrow morning. So I got into the hotel just in time to have this wonderful Q&A with Liz. So, Liz, give us a little background. How did the Bumblebee Conservation Trust get started?
Yeah, well, we're just over 15 years old now, so we're quite a young charity. So we originally got started when Professor Dave Goulson, who I recommend you look up his books, he's got some amazing books on bees, started to sort of anecdotally notice that there's been a decline in bumblebees, and he was raising this with his research sort of colleagues. And this is where we came to be, really, because he set up the Bumblebee Conservation Trust. Just to sort of monitor, survey, and research bumblebees, but also to try and halt and reverse their declines. So our overall mission is a world where bumblebees are thriving and valued. So yeah, we just want to stop them from declining and make sure they're doing well.
And bumblebees are absolutely vital to our lives as humans. How vital are they quantitatively?
They're incredibly vital. So they are pollinators, but they're some of the most important pollinators that you can get, basically, especially in the UK. So their weird shape, the fact that they're furry, that really, really makes them a lot more efficient pollinators than, for example, honeybees, because they go into a flower. They can go into lots of different ones because all the species are slightly different, have longer tongues. So they kind of cover a really broad range of plants. And then that pollen gets stuck to their fur, and then they're transferring that all around. It's quite funny to look at pictures of them covered in pollen. It's pretty adorable. But so, for example, a honeybee will just take up pollen on its tongue and transfer that to another plant. Bumblebees are just spreading it all around. But in total, we think that conservatively, pollinators, not just bumblebees, but pollinators, contribute £691 million to the UK economy alone. So our work indirectly will benefit all pollinators. So we're having an important role for that. And bumblebees in particular are really important for tomatoes, raspberries, beans, and peas. The price of those would go dramatically up if we didn't have bumblebees. But they're also pollinating our wildflower meadows, our urban green spaces, our balconies. So even if you live in a high-rise building in a big city like I used to in Birmingham in the UK, you can still see how much of an impact they're having across the board, really.
And I've seen some reports that approximately one out of, depending on your diet, if it's not all Big Macs, 1 out of 3 bites of food can be contributed to a pollinator at some level. I've seen
Yeah,
numbers that big.
that sounds about right. I mean, it's very concerning that pollinators as a whole are declining, but especially the 24 species of bumblebee we've got, because yeah, we all eat fruits, vegetables, and they're all pollinated. So yeah, they're incredibly important.
So, where is the research at right now? Do we have any idea? Is there a leading cause or concern? What's leading to the decline in the bumblebee population?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of different ideas. So there's a lot of different issues for bumblebees. So specifically in the UK, we noticed that bumblebees are slowly moving further and further north. So especially we've got our biggest bumblebee, the great yellow bumblebee, used to be in the entire of the UK, and now it's just in the northernmost tip of Scotland and the islands. So we can definitely theorize that climate change has potentially got something to do with that, as well as especially the adverse weather events that come with that. But also, specifically to the UK, we've lost 98% of our wildflower meadows since our wildflower rich grassland since 1940. So, I mean, bumblebees need flowers, they need pollen, so that is most likely going to be a really big cause as well. So the way our land's managed, the way it's farmed, that has to definitely have something bad to do with it.
And it's devastating that we could be responsible for doing this to ourselves. Because if I'm not mistaken, there are several different species of food, different types of food that can't be artificially pollinated, can only be done by insect pollinators.
Yeah, I think that is right, and especially some of the vegetables and fruits that bumblebees are really, really important for. If we could pollinate them ourselves, the price of those would go sky high. We wouldn't really be able to buy them. The average person wouldn't be able to afford them. So yeah, it would just be awful, really, if we kept losing our pollinators in that way.
Can you imagine if tomatoes became a luxury item?
Yeah, that would be. I love tomatoes. I couldn't handle that.
So Bumblebee Conservation Trust working in lots of different areas. What is going on with the education side of things right now with BBCT?
Well, yeah, that's a big sort of factor in what we're doing at the moment. So while we are doing a lot of science-based, data-driven things, and we're speaking to farmers, education and public engagement has become really important to us. So we recently ran a project called Be the Change, which was just purely education focused. So number one, we realized that a lot of people, for example, would confuse a bumblebee with a honeybee or not understand why bumblebees are important. So that was sort of one of the main missions of that project, was to get the message out there, kind of enthuse everyone about bumblebees, but at the same time showing that we can all do our own micro actions to protect bumblebees. So it's not just about us. Anyone really can do anything. So I used to live in a high-rise flat, and I put window boxes to just perch outside my balcony. Just those tiny little actions can make a really, really big difference. If you are lucky enough to have a garden, planting the right things, leaving little bits undisturbed so that bumblebees can find nests there, all of that, it's pretty easy to do, and it makes a real difference. So that's what that project was about, really. And we were really excited that sort of 9 out of 10 people that took part in it said that they felt more confident understanding why bumblebees needed to be protected, but also what they could do as well. So that's what we wanted to show, that it's not too big of a problem that no one can really fix. It's like if we all do a tiny little thing, that can make a big difference.
So just going back to your last thing. So we all know honeybees. We know honeybees, they live in a hive. There's hexagonal shapes, and there's a queen bee, but bumblebees, no hive.
No, yeah. So we've got one species of honeybee here in the UK, but we've got 24 species of bumblebee. And yeah, so while honeybees can be wild, they are mostly in hives, or they create their own hives in the wild. But bumblebees are wild bees. They don't live in hives. They aren't solitary, so they do have a colony, but their life cycle is very different to the honeybee. And there's different types of bumblebee, for example, the queen. So yeah, they're fascinating, really, and they sort of hibernate underground. They're really different to honeybees when you get into it.
And so and people can learn more about these different species at your website, bumblebeeconservation.org,
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely. So we've got all kinds of research on there. You can also check out our Be the Change website, because that has, I think, 35 free resources that is just about what you can do to protect bumblebees. But yeah, we've got all that information on our website. So pictures of the different types of bumblebees you can see. And that's, to me, I mean, I've only been working at the Trust for 6 months, and that's something that I hadn't even noticed before I started working here. I'd see a bumblebee and I just go, that's a bumblebee. But there's 24 species here. There's 240 species globally. So some of them look very similar, and you really need a scientist to tell the difference. But some of them are really obviously different. And yeah, it's fascinating when you get to look at them.
That's fantastic. So folks, if you want to learn more, so it's bethechange.org or
Yes.
bumblebeeconservation.org. Both.
Yeah, you can go on bumblebeeconservation.org, and then our project pages are all on there. So if you wanted to know more about Be the Change, or any of our projects, it's all on our website.
All right, so that's the education piece, very important. And now let's talk about the efforts that you guys are doing to actually like get more wildflowers and those ecological efforts. What's going on in that vein right now?
So we do have quite a few projects that are focusing on sort of direct habitat management and conservation. And some of the most important work I'd say we're doing right now is working with farmers and landowners, because we have lost so much of our flower-rich grassland due to, I mean, lots of reasons, but potentially intensive agriculture as well. We have a few projects where we're visiting farms, we're monitoring bumblebees on the farms, and we are sort of giving a list of recommendations and helping farmers to create more wildflowers, leave certain areas of their fields, for example, to just go wild, plant certain species, just to have a real difference on that sort of small level as well. Because I mean, if you're doing that, if all farms started doing that, that would be fantastic for bumblebees.
It really would be. And also, wildflowers are beautiful.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it makes the countryside a lot more of a sort of interesting place to be. You know, you're walking just through these monoculture fields and you come on one that's just been left. And it's just, you know, the amount of wildflowers that just spring up there without you even planting anything is fantastic. So yeah, it's beautiful.
And so, folks, whether you are in the UK or in the United States or wherever you are in the world, it does not cost much to get a pack of wildflowers. And you got a spot in your yard or a flower box outside your apartment window. Some wildflowers, those micro differences to make a change for the bumblebees could make a big difference if a lot of us did it. The other way you can make a difference is to sign up for events. Oh yeah, our events going on because Bumblebee Conservation Trust is our Fanthropy Spotlight charity partner this month, and we've got events going on in all three of the groups. We've got the Shield Maiden 6K. Liz, have you ever seen the show Vikings?
No, I haven't, but I have heard it's great, so I should watch it.
You should watch it. It's a great show. It is a little, it might be a little traumatic for the English because it does deal a lot with the invasion of England by the Vikings. So I don't know if you guys
I
have
can
gotten
take it.
over that in the
Yeah, we
last,
have.
1100 years. I don't know if you've gotten over that or not.
Just about gotten over it, I think.
I understand you're still not over Yorktown. I get it. We won't talk about it. It's okay. But so the Shield Maiden 6K for all of you awesome Shield Maidens out there, that's available in Fandom Running Club right now. In Whovian Running Club, we have I lost my mind. It's the K9 9K. Are you a Doctor Who fan, Liz?
From the UK, so definitely, yeah, I've definitely watched Doctor Who and love it.
Yeah, so we've got the K9 9K right now, everyone's favorite robot dog. So you can sign up for that one as well. And then in our Potterhead Running Club, are you a Potter fan? What house are you, Liz?
You know what? I've never checked, but I would suspect Hufflepuff, I think.
Oh,
if being honest.
If she's suspecting a Hufflepuff, you're welcome to join the Hufflepuff Common Room at any time, Liz. I'm sure they would welcome you there in the Badger's Den. But in Potterhead Running Club, we have the most potent 10K, our Polyjuice themed event. And today, folks, just as a reminder, the deadline is 8 p.m. tonight. Registrations by tonight. If you make your goals by tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, double points for the House Cup. So go get those points. Good stuff. And while you're signing up, you will be supporting Bumblebee Conservation Trust. A portion of every registration is going to go to our Spotlight charity partner for this month to help save the bees. Liz, if there's anything in the final few moments here that you would want to make sure that everyone was aware of, I'm going to check comments because I realized that I did not have my comment sheet open. Oh, yes, we do have Hufflepuff saying that they would welcome you into the den.
Amazing,
so
thank you.
They would welcome you into the den. So in just kind of in parting, what's the most important thing that you would want people to leave knowing?
Well, definitely that everyone can do their bit, as you mentioned, Brian, to help bumblebees. So there's really no action too small. It doesn't matter if you live in a city, if you live in the countryside, whatever you can do. If you go on our Be the Change website or just our website in general, you can see the types of plants that really help bumblebees, and you can just get some great ideas as to what to do there.
Gotcha. So, folks, be kind to the bees. We need the bees. Um,
Absolutely.
as someone who enjoys eating food, as I think we all are, I would really hate to see some of my favorite foods go away, simply because we didn't take the time to do the small things to help out the smallest amongst us, namely the bees. So please do what you can to help save the bees, and sign up for events so we can support Bumblebee Conservation Trust and their advocacy portion, their education portion, and their direct impact of actually getting some, changing the ecology of the UK to help support bumblebee populations. So, Liz, thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks
Um,
for having me, and thanks for your support as well. It's amazing that you're supporting Bumblebee Conservation Trust.
we are happy to we have worked with BBCT before, and we love you guys, uh,
Great.
and just love what you guys do. So thank you so much, folks. Have a wonderful day. Again, go sign up for those events, and if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in comments of the video or ask them in the Great Hall or the Fan Domain or the TARDIS. We'll get those questions to Liz, and we'll get you some answers if you had any specific questions. So please ask those questions if you got them. It all works out. Folks, thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Liz, have a wonderful evening there in the UK.
Thank you. Good luck with your marathon tomorrow. Sounds great.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Great. You too. Bye.
Bye.